Oh no. Okay, I think we're live now.
What?
I think we're live. And I think we're live on YouTube too. So let's see if I can turn that screen.
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe we're not live on. Oops. So we're live on Facebook at least. Worst case scenario, YouTube doesn't work out. I know, Maya. It's a devastating. That's okay. We have a second anyway because I don't think anybody's watching us this late. Hi, Whitney. Whitney's watching us. Well, I don't know why this is not working, but we'll just keep it going. So, I'm trying to do YouTube.
Yeah, I have YouTube.
I can always download it off of Facebook. No, MBD. I don't know how to fix that right now. So, as you can see in the description, Chris is joining me for this segment of thrift store and auction finds. And we tried to do this last week, but the internet was very poor and it kept cutting us off, and we were really tired, and we were just like, forget it, we'll do it next week. Oh, my fingers look huge. And as you can see in our description, I have links to different things like our Etsy shop. No, not our Etsy shop. We don't have an Etsy shop. His eBay and my Poshmark, and then a link to buy this shirt if you want to. So we're just going to go through some of the stuff that we got. If you guys have any questions or want to know anything about what we have, feel free to ask. And we're going to start a YouTube channel, hopefully doing some of this thrifting stuff and auction stuff, and also homesteading and different things like that as we progress. So, yep, have anything to say before we begin? Besides what our dogs are doing right now, because this atmosphere is a little thick, if you know what I mean. So, well, we'll just start out with some of the things that Chris won at the auction here in town called Bond Triggers last Wednesday. So, well, this one was even further than last Wednesday. Did you know I grabbed this one? This item here. Anybody know what this is?
You have to put it sideways.
Sideways. Check this out. Did I do that right?
Yep. All
right, Chris, what is this?
This is a brass. Well, we didn't know it was brass until I started to clean it up. You can tell, but it is an old vintage / antique wine corker.
A wine corker.
So you would put the bottle of wine in here, and it would be fastened to a table. You can't see it, but there's a hole.
Oh,
right
that's
here.
what that's for. That would make me feel a lot better.
To a table. And then we make wine, so some of the homesteading stuff we do, we will actually use this. We are debating on selling this right now. But if we do, for what we paid for it and what it's probably worth, we'll probably make a pretty good penny on it.
Because before... Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, but other than that, it's a really neat, cool, antique piece.
Because before, when we had to bottle the wine, I was like... hitting it on the counter, and it was a little dangerous. I don't know if I was supposed to say that. And another cool thing at the auction, sometimes stuff goes for a lot, and sometimes you get a really good deal. And what we've learned is when you go in at first, everybody has their pockets full of money, and they spend it real quick. But what you gotta do is be patient, not take things to heart, Brittany, and just wait them out.
Yeah, we got, well, the other thing that we just showed, we got that for less than $1.
Less than $1, and it was in a lot, wasn't it? With some other stuff.
The whole lot was $1, that's why I said less than $1. And you'll see some of the other stuff that we purchased in that lot.
This is not from that lot. We just got this on Wednesday.
This is I believe a 3.5 or 4 gallon carboy, which anybody who makes wine or beer would know that these go for a pretty penny also. And I think we picked this up for $11.
$11. Oh, it's kind of heavy. We have a porcelain sink, and our last carboy hit it at just the right angle. We lose a lot of dishes that way, and it just cracked and broke. And this year, I want to make some mulberry wine, because we have a mulberry tree. I say that now, but don't hold me to it, because sometimes I change my mind once it actually gets down to it. Okay. All right. Oh, that's really heavy. Try not to break it. This is... Maya, hey. She's going to bark for a second. Sorry, guys. Don't break into her house, or you'll have Maya to deal with. This is pretty cool. And it's hard to get stuff like this because you kind of want to keep it because it is just kind of useful.
This was also in the lot with the vintage Corker, or the antique Corker. This is an antique cast iron boot scraper. You'd see these out in front of farms, out in front of the houses where the farmer would come in, scrape their boot on this to get the dirt off, and the pan, oh, watch yourself.
Sorry.
The pan collects the dirt, and then they would throw the dirt out. Very nice older piece. It's got a small break up here, but stuff like that, usually it doesn't matter too much when selling. People like it more for the nostalgia than...
Yeah, I mean, it's functional and it's cool because, like, some people have barns that are, like, decked to the hills with cool things, and this is one of them. And it's a pretty decent size.
It's cast iron.
But, okay, that's fine. We didn't know what our dogs were destroying. So, I think this is cool because when I go into the chicken coop, I have, like, a pair of sloggers and a pair of rain boots, but sometimes I forget. So this is nice just to have to scrape it, but it would be cool if we had one big enough to scrape your wheels. But we managed somehow.
But we'll be selling that, not for our chicken coop.
Yeah. Sometimes I like to sneak things to keep them, but I can't. Okay, now on to some girlier things that I will be happy to take over for Chris for a few seconds. I have been finding so much LuLaRoe. I found this nice pretty little skirt today, so I can't wait to put this bad boy up on some of the LuLaRoe Facebooks. If you guys aren't a part of, I know there's Marketplace, which is really easy to access on your phone, but it's also good to get into specific categories of items like LuLaRoe, because there's people who are looking for specific items. And what I like about selling online, and some people might be a little bit more afraid to, you can use PayPal, and PayPal will protect you just as easy as eBay policies will, won't they?
From what I understand.
Well, we haven't had any issues yet, and we've been doing it for a few years, selling stuff. I mean, you started selling eBay stuff when we were friends, and we've been married for almost 3 years now. The first thing he ever sold for me was a Michael Henry commentary series of books. Remember that? Yeah. I was just thrilled that he sold it for like $70. I was like, are you kidding me right now? So he's been doing it a little bit longer than I have. But stuff like this, if you get into different groups on Facebook and you post things on there, it's easier to sell specific items, or just knowing what your market is, or how far you're willing to drive, or if you want to ship it, and different things like that. So that's a lot of fun. So that was a thrift store find today, actually. That wasn't an auction find. And then I want to talk about these. These are UGG boots. The infamous, you love them or you hate them boots. Those ones we've been sitting on for a little while.
I forgot we actually had those.
Yeah, and then we got these bad boys today, which if they don't sell, I'm not going to be upset because they might be my size. I'm Bigfoot, so... but to start out with this pair, when we got these, a lot of people get rid of their UGG boots because they are super dirty or have a lot of salt on them. Or maybe they're, misshapen, looking crazy. I can't even think of the word. But since Chris, did you learn in the military how to do that sort of thing?
I cleaned a lot of leather boots in the military, and most of these people that get rid of these, because of the salt stains, all you have to do is 50% water and 50% vinegar and scrub them, and the vinegar does something to them that breaks down the salt, and then I just rinse them a couple of times. It's a bit of a process, it can be anyways, but we'll clean them, rinse them, dry them, do it like 3 or 4 times, and 9 out of 10 times all the stains, like as you can see, these really aren't stained with any salt. It comes out, and then we turn around and sell them. Yeah,
and it's pretty cool. And the best time to buy off-season, or I just gave it away. The best time to buy UGG boots are off-season because, you know, a lot of people aren't looking to buy UGG boots, so you can get them for cheap. Thank you, Mac. So you buy them cheap, clean them up. So if any of you ever need your UGG boots cleaned here in town or whatever, let us know. we'll be happy to help you out to see what we can do for you as far as that goes. And or if you're looking to buy UGG boots, hit us up. Are these on eBay right now?
No, I forgot we even had
We're going to put these up on eBay. So, you know, those aren't bad. They're cute. But I was like floored today when I caught a glimpse of these bad boys. These are nice. They're a little worn, but like for the most part, you don't find good looking boots like this too often. They're called sweater Uggs. And it's always important when you buy Uggs, when you want to make sure you're buying real Uggs. Obviously, you look at the tag on the inside.
Check the SN number.
The SN number. I typed in this number on this side. Let me see if I can show you. I typed in this number first. It started with a letter. This one was F0134F. But you want to go for the UGG SN number. And see right there. I wish this wasn't backwards. You could type it into eBay or you could just type it into Google. Either way, that's how you'll know if there's real. That's how you know if they are real. Also, sometimes you can tell just by the bottom. What was the indication by looking at the bottom of the boot? Do you remember?
I don't even remember.
We're a little off season right now.
We just
What size are these? These are size USA 9s, UK 7.5. Oh no, HQ is live, but we're doing a live video ourselves. These are size 9 Uggs. And here, the spaceships. For anybody who does want to purchase anything that we're showing and avoiding like the eBay fees.
We don't like eBay fees.
We don't like eBay fees. I don't like Poshmark fees. So if you want to send us a message, we'll talk about, you know, how that goes. And then we do PayPal and we ship everything straight from here. So if you're interested in anything, feel free to ask.
Bring them on. What's that mean?
That means that if this person who just started watching wants to be in this little square, kind of like FaceTime, they can talk.
Oh, gotcha.
So I don't know. Anybody wants to talk to us? Pretty boring.
So these are our boots.
These are incredible. I wish I had a pair. Okay. So those are... Oh, well, these are size 9. These littler Uggs are size 4. What size are you? We'll keep an eye out. These are size 4. These are size 9. Because I'm telling you what. eBay. I need to learn what my words are. UGG boots are not hard to come by. If you guys are looking for anything in any specific size... ask us, because I'm not bringing out all of the inventory that we have, but what we do have, you know.
We have a lot.
We have a lot. Now, if the UGG boots don't fit you, maybe these will. These are one size fit all. Boom. Moon shoes. Check that out. Has anybody ever, or did anybody ever have these growing up? These are legit vintage moon shoes. Do you have anything to say about them?
No, that's just kind of one of our other niches that we do a lot of antiques. She does a lot of clothes and then vintage toys.
Nostalgia, man.
Nostalgia sells. People, we as a matter of fact just sold today a maple height chair that turned into a desk with an abacus and some other stuff. It was a really
and a potty chair.
Old height chair, and we just sold that today. But these, I think we got these at a clearance Goodwill, and we paid pennies for these.
Pennies, dude.
So, and these will sell on eBay, or really any of the garage sale sites, local sites. They're just a cool toy, and
these are size 10 and 11, and every other size in between. My sister and niece love to play with these when they come over. Well, they did. I don't know if they care much anymore. They're getting kind of old, but. What, Maya?
She approves.
She approves? Or is she sad that everybody's getting older? So, moon shoes. Let's see, what do we want to do next? Jewelry.
One of my favorite things to find and to look at, ironically, is jewelry.
It's
so
true.
I shop and I get all her jewelry for her. She doesn't really...
I don't buy my own jewelry.
She doesn't like shopping for jewelry, so
I'd buy penguin stuff. I don't know anything about jewelry.
But a couple pieces of jewelry, I always keep my eye out because you'll get some pretty good deals. especially on sterling jewelry, which I actually prefer over gold. But this is one piece that we got very cheap. This is Italian sterling silver with a mother of pearl gem. And I don't know if you can like back it up so they can actually see the whole, like the actual gem part.
Oh, wait, like this?
Yes.
Oh, I think I showed it there. Look at that bad boy. I feel like I'm on that, what is that one shopping channel?
Keep the chain still so they can, the chain's got a really cool pattern. It's got like some balls or some beads on it. But we got that very cheap.
I can't focus it.
That's alright.
We'll have pictures up, or if anybody needs pictures of anything.
And we're going to link our eBay to this.
Oh, it is linked in the
okay.
bio description, whatever.
Yeah, so if you see something on here, it's eventually going to be on our eBay within a day or two. And then another piece of jewelry I found today was this. This is 18 karat gold. It's plated. It's sterling silver plated with 18 karat gold. And it has this really cool dragonfly pattern with some gemstones.
And a nice gold chain.
And a nice solid looking chain. So.
Oh, whoa, whoa. He's backwards. Come back.
And once again, we did not pay, I don't think we paid more than $10 for this stuff. So.
I wish it would focus better.
There is money to be made in doing resale and just going out there and putting the time into finding the stuff and looking around. Because a lot of people don't know what they have, especially at the thrift stores. They just put it out there. They'll put the costume jewelry in with some really nice jewelry. Although Goodwill is starting to get very
stingy.
Yeah, they're starting to train their people on what to look for. But no matter how well they're trained, stuff still slips through the cracks. So that is a couple of the pieces of jewelry we got. And then I want to say something too. I have to say something before you say something. I had nothing to do with.
Well, this is what I'm about to say. Is not about
this next item.
Maya, I love you so much. Can you stop, please? Thank you. I was working at a job. First I was working at a full-time job. Then I was working at a part-time job. But by the time I got home, the sun was already setting. I was exhausted from staring at a computer all day. And I hated having to ask permission to go somewhere or to do something or to take time off for myself or to schedule things around if there was an emergency. And it got to the point where I was just really frustrated. And it was taking a toll on how I responded to him and all this other stuff. So with the help of my wonderful, handsome husband.
Quit.
He said quit.
Just quit.
And I quit. And I only had one cleaning job at the time, making $40. And I was like, twice a week. I was like, how am I going to do this? And slowly, he's been teaching me how to fix things, repair things, redo furniture, which we'll have to just do an entire thing on redoing furniture one of these days. And just the fact that just because something breaks doesn't mean you have to go buy something new. You can fix it. For instance, our fridge decided to die one day and everything melted. It was so depressing. I went in there to grab a popsicle and the only thing that was really in the bag was the stick. You can't do much with just a popsicle stick. So what we did is we pulled the fridge out and we vacuumed it and we cleaned out all of the, what is it? I don't even know what it's called.
Well, there was a bunch of stuff in there, but all the circuits got dusted and stuff like that. So we just pulled it apart, cleaned it, put everything back together, and it fired up. So
Boom.
YouTube's a great forum to be able to learn and to share experiences with different stuff like this. So
I'm glad you said that, because something else we've been doing recently is whenever we see a Keurig or a similar coffee maker somewhere, thrift store on the side of the road, as long as it's not like more than $10, we'll snag that up and fix it. And it got to the point where I had 2 Keurigs the other day, and I won't tell you how much I got them for, because I feel bad. But I turned around and sold them each for $35 in the same morning. So I made $70 within 10 minutes.
Which, in your defense, is still a good deal for the person buying it, too.
That's
it's just that we get a better deal because we'll take the extra 5 minutes to
that's true. Because
fix it, and
somebody else had the same Keurig posted for $50, and I'm not out there to break people up with coals or nothing like that. But
So
it is nice to make some
undercut
money.
our competition.
Undercut the competition, but keep it flowing. Keep good prices coming. And Coco! Hi, Kevin! To the point where one lady I sold a Keurig to, I told her, hey, we fix Keurigs. Never be afraid to sell yourself and put yourself out there and say, hey, this is what we do if you need something. I want to make sure.
We do a lot of everything.
So she came and dropped off her Keurig. She said it wasn't pumping very well. So we took the filter out, and it was like this.
Gross.
Yeah, so once we took this filter out of the reservoir, it was pumping just fine. So basically, this is like
we diagnosed her Keurig and told her what she had to do.
Within 5 minutes of her dropping it off.
And we'll get paid for it, albeit not much.
Like $10.
We took 5 minutes out of our day, and we earned our coffee money for the week.
Or half a burger at Bourbon and Burger. That's what my sights are set on. So anyway, that's pretty cool. Because it's nice to be able to help people out. Because, you know, everybody needs a break now and then. So even just something simple like that. And we fixed probably, I'd say we fixed close to 10 Keurigs already.
Easily.
So I'm going to put the plug in. One, if you need your Keurig fixed, bring it on by. We'll give you a diagnosis. And I really don't know how to speak English, I promise. I don't know how to speak English. Move on. Don't linger. If you need it fixed, bring it on by. Or if you have one that you just want to get rid of and throw out, we'll be glad to take it off your hands for parts or just to practice fixing. Because we don't want to break people's stuff. So I'm glad you said that.
And if nothing else, we want to encourage you, like the kind of the way we live and we do this stuff and we've come about to learn how to do this stuff. It's very liberating in a sense to be able to do this stuff on your own and not have to always pay somebody. And the more and more you do stuff like this, you save $1 here, $1 here, and eventually you're not paying people for services that you normally would, that you can provide on your own, and then you can offer those services to other people. So you're on the receiving end of the money and not the giving end of the money.
Yes.
Which is very nice.
And another cool thing about that, too, is once you start doing that, you can start bartering with people. Like, yes. Hey, you need your Keurig fixed? Well, I need my hair done. Or we need this fixed, but we don't really know how to do it. And you do, but we can do this for you. And can't tax that. Can't tax friendships. Well, I guess you don't really have to be a friend to barter, but it helps. And
that's why we mention to people
like
and what we do. If you need something, let us know, because we're more than happy to trade services. Because sometimes you might have access to things that don't necessarily cost you a lot, but you have access, whether it's, I don't know, because of connections you have, where you can get something that's worth a lot of money, but you can get it cheap, and you can offer it to somebody else, and they might have the same kind of thing going on, to where you could actually trade in value with little to no effort, because you both have access to different things that are worth a lot more than what you're paying or putting into them. So
yeah.
And what else do you have?
Okay, so
I had nothing to do with this. I want to repeat that I was nowhere around.
I got it because it was his size. Okay, so we go to a thrift store. Should I tell about our secret? The thrift store. The Clearance Goodwill Center in Rochester. And you pay $1.69 for a pound of clothes. And they bring out all these bins, and you basically wrestle people like alligators to get what you want. But at the end of the day, you get a good deal. So I found this bad boy sitting there, and I just couldn't resist. If anybody is a Disney or a Little Mermaid fan, check this out. It's a sleeping thingy.
It's a Little Mermaid onesie.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love it. I don't think that this had ever been worn. And for those of you who want to know what the size is without publicly asking, it's a medium, size 8 to 10. I don't know. I didn't try it on, honestly. Probably should. Maybe I should just test it out tonight, make sure it works properly and there's no bumps. Nice. So that's up on my Poshmark.
Once again, I had nothing to do with
He had everything to do with it. I think he even paid for that haul that day.
No.
Thank you, honey. Making dreams come true. I'll put this over there too. Poshmark link is in the description, but if you'd like to purchase anything that's on my Poshmark without having to pay the extra fees, hit me up. Same thing with his eBay. let's go back to cool stuff.
Ooh, these are one of my favorite. This was one of my finds actually. Going back to the nostalgia and the toys, these I found at a thrift store for like $2, I think, $2 or $3, and they're all really, really old. Like, you know how you used to play with the army men when you were little, but these are astronauts. So they're like from the late 70s, early 80s, but it's a whole kit with astronauts and
the moon.
A picture of.
Would you eat the moon if it was made of barbecue spare ribs?
The Earth.
Tell me that's not the coolest thing you've ever seen in your whole life.
So we got about 30 of these little Martian guys, and we could probably just keep setting them up.
But I don't want to. Do you have these posted on eBay yet?
Yes, those have been posted on eBay.
I don't know how to fold this back
up.
up.
And I actually put them up pretty cheap on eBay, so hopefully somebody can enjoy them and purchase them and have fun with those, or at least their kids.
I'm going to have to fold this later because I'm completely lost.
So yeah, there's, at least show the space shuttles. So there's like a satellite. That's not Sputnik. Sputnik was Russian.
Oh, Boy Meets World, yeah.
So there's this crazy satellite, this moon buggy, the lander, the moon lander.
Shuttle.
The space shuttle. What other stuff is in? Oh, some of the flags, the cool little flags.
Oh, yeah.
And the rocket boosters.
I mean, look at that.
Flags, so you can
represent. We can't see them, but if they got rid of the comments, they could see them. Nailed it.
So that was one of my one of the finds that
I lost a guy.
I know that's like the second time you did that.
I know.
One of the finds that we came across, and like I said, we find all sorts of unique stuff that's
unique.
Not really, not stuff you see anymore.
Okay.
Moving on.
Moving on. Oh, speaking of unique nostalgia, if you're French and you grew up in Canada, this might look like a familiar Morbid toy.
That's old though. That's old. That's really old.
Yeah, look how cute she is.
It's in good condition.
It's like one of those kids' toys.
I think this was...
We got this for like 59 cents.
What's the date on it? 60s, 70s?
I think you looked it up based on the label. That's always fun. One of the things that I always look for first is a date. Anything made later than like 80s or 85 was mass produced, so it doesn't have as much value as things that were produced, especially something in good condition in like the 70s. Well, even some of the 70s stuff is but definitely the 50s and the 60s.
Yeah, a lot of the older toys too have like, I mean, I don't know if you can see this, her hair, but like the detail in the hair, how it's etched in, and
so
things
funny.
have a lot more character the older the toys are. At least I think so anyway. And they last longer. I mean, this thing's...
And we saw somebody else, and the reason we bought this, we're kind of been sitting on it for a little while, but when he looked this up on eBay, there was one in way worse condition that was being sold for a little bit more, so of course we like to undercut the competition.
Our rule of thumb, whenever we go into a thrift store, and we should probably tell people this, because it's very helpful. We have by no means a business background or went to school for any of this, but we always ask the question, can we double our money on it? So whatever we pay, we want to at least, at a minimum, get double, because that covers too, obviously, eBay fees and stuff like that.
Which are 10%?
It varies. I think it's 10%. I should probably know that off the top of my head, but I don't. So that's what's been working for us. So if we see something and it's $2, we need to be able to at least make $4 on it. So,
and it has to be really special if we decided that we're going to sit on it, like that high chair thing that we sold today.
Yeah, so that's another thing. I mean, we'll buy something a little bit maybe that we know will make more money, and we'll put a lot more money out there if we know we're going to get it, and we might have to sit on stuff. You know, we had, like she was saying, the high chair.
I don't know if this is reversed, but we bought this today.
Like 20 cents, and it's like a $14 belt.
Yeah, like, and that's another thing, like, random stuff like this, you don't always have to go for, like, super name brand stuff or, like, shiny, glitzy glamour. Something as simple as a belt where somebody's like, oh, just see if you can get it cheaper on eBay. It's going to look something like this up.
And this stuff, I've actually been getting more and more into this. You'll see all the time at thrift stores, you'll see belts, oil filters, spark plugs, parts are always in demand and they turn over quickly. So it might seem insignificant to you as the buyer initially looking at it, but somebody on one of those forums is looking for that part, and they will be willing to pay. So lawnmower belts, any sort of, like I said, oil filters, spark plugs, windshield wipers.
But check the box and make sure.
You always want to check and make sure that
it's not the old part.
It's in there, because that has happened before, and we've learned through experience. So be thorough. I mean, that's with anything. If you buy clothes, check it for holes. We always, before we go to a checkout, we do an inspection. Before we go through the line, we will look everything over with a fine-tooth comb.
Inside out.
And make sure that it's good to go. So parts are another huge item to get.
Another huge item to get is Ed Hardy jeans. Well, kind of. They were in very good condition. But after looking them over, you want to make sure, because there's a lot of fakes, but you have your labels on the inside. Make sure that there's a size, because it's a pain in the butt to figure out. I will not buy any clothes if there's not a size tag in it, because I'm not about to sit around and try to figure out what size they are. You want to make sure that zippers and buttons work. No holes in the pockets. If it has any embroidery like this, make sure that there are no speckles missing. It's hard to find similar speckles. The only problem I did come across with this particular pair of jeans was at the top right here. It's kind of coming apart. So if that is the case for you, always make sure that you will take a special picture of that, make note of it. I would even measure how big it is, especially when you send it, because you will have people who are fishing for a refund. So you never want to just, if you're posting something, you never just want to sloppily put it up there and avoid telling about defects, because they will find them and they will kill you.
And honestly, it's just good business policy to have integrity and make sure that they know what they're getting.
These are women's size 26. I don't really know how to convert that right now, but there are conversion charts online. Selling on Poshmark, people can be really annoying. Like, would this fit me? This is my body type. I'm like, dude, I don't know. It's your body type. You should know. But try to be nice, I guess. So we got these today for a pretty decent, I think we got them for like $2. And there were similar ones selling for more than $2, quite a bit more. So.
And speaking of that, another thing I want to add is, if you want to get into doing this, if you are a veteran, ask about discounts, because places like AMVETS, American Veterans, they offer discounts. Goodwill, most of the Goodwills do. Ironically, the only one that we haven't gotten a discount at is Salvation Army.
But they tend to be cheaper.
But they tend to be cheaper anyways. So.
Except for their furniture.
But that might also be due to the locality of where we are, because I know some places out of state, they're a lot more veteran friendly. But stuff like that, every nickel and dime helps. So they'll have, I think our Goodwill gives us a 15% discount for me being a veteran. So that helps in your overall profit margins.
Yeah, and also look at different schedules that they have. For instance, our Goodwill in Batavia on Saturdays, the color of the week is $1. So we got like this really cool fajita grill thing for $1, which we probably didn't need, but sometimes it's okay to be spontaneous. So there's that. And then, as far as the furniture goes, this is a funny story that happened today. Well, kind of today. So we were driving home from Buffalo one day. You are so obnoxious. Can you go somewhere? Go lay down. It's Maya. She's a camel. We were driving home on 33 or 5. I don't know, one of them.
Walden.
And we saw this piece of furniture. And the way we decide whether or not to pick up a piece of furniture, if it's particle board, you leave it there, because you're not going to do anything with it. You can't make particle board pretty. It's just not happening. And personally, I would never buy anything from more than $10 that's made from particle board, because it's just trash. But we pulled to the side of the road, and it was the secretary's desk, and it had a free sign on it. It was covered in surface mold, cobwebs, and the base of it, the foot was kind of broken in half, but the piece was with it.
It was claw footing, and the facing was popped off, but it was a flat piece, so all we had to do was glue it.
So we had our van with us, so I walked it over to the van, got it in there. It even still had the key to the lock because it like comes down like this, and then you can write and you can fold back.
Skeleton key.
Yeah, it was crazy because it's really rare to find like something like that with all the pieces. So I had to call my brother to have him help me get it into the house because it was just a really big piece. But Chris sanded it down. He painted it a really, really nice blue color and then silver leafed the feet and then the little pointer at the top. Anyway, it's beautiful. And it was so beautiful, we just kept it because it just really tied our living room together. But the story is, we were at AmVets today in Rochester, and they had the same exact secretary's desk there.
Completely destroyed for $150.
$150! And we got ours for free. It's insane.
Which brings us to the next point, that when you're out and about and if you see furniture, furniture is a huge moneymaker too, if you want to spend a little bit of time sanding and refinishing.
It's good quality time.
But I think people want to see more items.
Okay. Now, I had a reason for buying this bowl. It's because there's more of them. And bigger ones too. And then also some of these. Now, I am a little crazy. This was a gamble purchase. Every once in a while, if something is a little bit kind of expensive, but it's like kind of iffy, once in a while we'll do it. We really weigh our options, but I was by myself this time. I'm over here. I was by myself at the Goodwill this day, where I bought a Keurig and these. I got this whole set for $15. Yeah, you're beautiful. $15, but the name on it is Tabletops Gallery Tuscan Orchard, which is weird because they spelled orchard wrong on some of them. But I don't think they're fake because they're really good quality.
No, they're not.
Did you whisper something?
No.
So some of the plates for this brand, just like 2 plates, were selling for $20. So I might sit on these for a little while, but I'm okay with that because somebody's going to come along and really want this to finish a collection. Because, like, for instance, Chris bought me... Do you remember the name of the brand you bought me?
I think it's Temptations.
Oh, yeah. Temptations cookware or bakeware or something, and they're really nice, like, baking dishes. And they're in the hutch right now, so when we go out and stuff and we find the same brand, we'll pick it up. So if somebody's looking to complete their collection... I mean, these are really nice ceramic bowls. And if somebody has this theme going on in their kitchen... Or maybe their mom had this sort of thing. Like this is a 9-inch serving bowl. And there's no chips, there's no stains. I don't think that these were used at all.
Yeah, don't ever get dishware with chips because
there's no point. That's why they got rid of them.
So always inspect your porcelains.
Yeah, I mean, there's been times where we've gotten up to the counter and we've inspected things and found something last minute. These were also a good deal because of the day that was orange, and that was the day that orange was coming out. So I knew that those were gonna last.
What else?
This is.
I don't know what these are.
I do.
I have no idea.
I do. Is it because you don't know what they are in general, or you don't know what I brought out until you? Okay. Anyway, these are Griffin Reflector flares. So...
I don't even know where these come from.
West Virginia.
Oh, yeah. Well, that makes sense. We purchased property, and these were on the property.
Yeah. No overhead. So if you break down... I don't know.
I think like truckers would use these. I'm going to guess.
They do something somehow for somebody.
We have no idea. But they're in good condition, and there's a full set, and they look old. So
yeah, I mean, again, somebody has a garage or a barn or something. They're pretty cool. They all do this. They also have writing on the back. Meets Griffin, number 4. or meets ICC requirements. And then, of course, you'll want to, if you're taking pictures, make sure you get all of the words, which I think I did, because these are on eBay now, aren't they? I sent you the pictures.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Well, they'll be on eBay soon. And then, yeah, I mean, these are in pretty good condition.
That's a boring item.
It's boring?
I don't.
You think this is boring?
I think that item is boring.
Oh, well, let's just get this out of here and get the party started with something else.
You're going to grab the orange.
This is not for sale. That's my Grammy. Speaking of Grammy, another cool thing. Now, I didn't really know this too much, but it's funny how it works. When I first met Chris, I didn't really know he was into a lot of this stuff. I don't even know if you knew you were into a lot of this stuff at first.
Well, I was still learning it.
Yeah, and throughout our relationship, we're learning more about ourselves and each other. That's what marriage is. But he's been doing the gardening thing and the making wine, making apple pie. One time we had to go outside and pick apples off a tree so you could make a homemade apple pie and all that stuff. And he finds fruit trees everywhere. Everywhere. Like, we go somewhere and he's eating something.
Where are you going with this?
You don't know where I'm going with this. But my Grammy's father, so my great-grandfather, was very similar in the way that he always had gardens and he was doing things like that. So I just think it's funny how it came full circle that I'm so much like my grandmother and then Chris is kind of like my great-grandfather in that way. But my Grammy, the one in this picture that I just showed you, and her husband in this picture, they used to go to flea markets and sell stuff, and she just gave me this book today, Bottle Pricing Guide. So I just think it's cool that she started doing this stuff before I was even born, and without knowing it, we're doing it. So I don't know, it seems kind of cool. Like a hobby to learn and to teach our kids once they get here. I don't know where they at, though. Let's see what else we got. I don't know. I just wanted to start it. This.
Yep. This was another thing that we found at the auction. I like old maps, and this is from an old National Geographic, and it's a star map, 1970s. So you can put that in front of me. But there's all sorts of star charts and stuff like this. Any reference material too that's got character like this is always good to pick up because people will purchase this if nothing else for a wall display.
Yeah, that would look nice on the wall.
Another way with stuff like this to make money is keeping your eye open for a cheap frame at the Goodwill and putting two items together. You put this in a frame, people will pay $20-$30 for something that's put in a nice display, and you might only spend $5 to $10. So this is one of the things that we also got in the lot, and the entire lot was. Collection. I think we paid like $10 for the entire lot. So that's
not a lot at all.
That we put on eBay.
And in that lot also was an old stamp a few old stamp collections.
So anybody into astronomy?
Anybody into astronomy? We have some other stuff. We have other stuff too besides this.
We got an old book that had a bunch of astronomy stamps in it. And then
that's the stamp collection that I was talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's all astronomy.
And then I like old books. Like, I'm really into reading books about presidents. I know it's weird. Even though the last book I read was about Rosa Parks, but I just like learning about the presidents. And so there was a lot of books, like old books, and homeschooling. Yes.
Yes.
That's a good point.
Homeschooling references.
Because that's what we're going to do. Sorry. The screen keeps going. What was I saying? Oh, my old books. So if you ever come across old books, or before you give old books away, always thumb through them. I know this because I had to clean this house that this old lady had, but she had passed away, and they were trying to clean it up, and they said she used to use money as bookmarks. So as we were going through the books, we had to flip through them. So that's just become a habit of mine to flip through books. And I got this lot of books. So there was like 2 boxes full of old books for $2. And we found some old stamps in there, like
a bunch of old stamps.
What was Samuel Adams' wife's name? Abigail Adams, I think.
Yep.
And there was Abigail Adams stamps, a book about John and, is it John? Did I just say it?
John Adams.
John Adams. I'm so tired right now. So that's a nice little lot that I'll be able to slap together. And then we found another sheet of stamps and a letter of the origin of the stamps. So just stuff like that. Always look through books.
Show them our new garbage pail.
I showed that in the last video, but I guess I could again.
Yeah, you might as well. And then every now and then you'll get a piece that's just full of irony. So
it's going to be loud for a second. Hold on.
That's all right. We have a new bin we've been using for our garbage can, and I think you'll understand why.
If you don't know why, Google it.
It's an old Monsanto bin that came in one of the lots. So Monsanto.
Vanillin? What is vanillin?
I don't know.
Manufactured by Monsanto Chemical Company in St. Louis, Missouri.
So this is a cool piece of history too, albeit we don't support Monsanto.
Not cognitively.
It's very old, and I think this same exact one without the lid was going for like $40 or $50 on eBay. So I would never pay that, but I would sell it for that.
It's good enough for trash.
But it's our new trash bin, so.
It's got a hole in the bottom, so we'll have to watch that.
And then I think that's it.
Also, check pockets, because one time we were at the thrift store and I had my hand on a coat and I was like, I feel like I want to check the pockets, and I pulled out 75 cents. I came up to Chris. I was like, Chris, I just found 75 cents. And then I went back through and I found change in 2 more pockets. So that's cool. But
so you never know what you'll find.
Never know what you'll find, yeah.
And sometimes it's not always good stuff.
Yeah, we had to throw some things away.
Auction lots sometimes will surprise you with.
Men always have your wives unroll the posters. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I wasn't around for that.
No. But anyway, just like I said at the beginning, everything that we displayed, we are selling. What?
No.
Okay. There's the link to eBay. There's a link to my Poshmark. And there's a link to buy this shirt. Always support your friends. There's a girl I'm friends with on Facebook who makes shirts. So I posted the link for this shirt on her Etsy account. Support her. Support your friends. Do what you can. And before you throw things out, see if you can fix it. And last thing, we're going to try to get this YouTube thing working. I don't know why I couldn't go live. We've been having trouble with that, so I'm going to try to upload this video, or maybe we just can't go live on there. So, yeah, if you guys need anything or have any questions, just message us. Bye! Go away. Hit finish.